Gentlemen, congratulations on Tasmanian Devil.
Oh, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Appreciate that.
So how proud of it that it's being showcased here at the American Black Film Festival.
I'm very proud. 5 years ago, I had a film called Joy that I premiered at the American Black Film Festival, and that was kind of my start in. That was like my first real industry start in filmmaking. Uh, I was in the HBO showcase, and so if you've seen how they do that, it's a very prestigious type thing. So it was kind of like my first taste in festivals and having a film and all that type of stuff. So to come back 5 years later with a feature, my first feature, I feel very proud and honored to do so. I'm a little disappointed it can't be in person, but you take the good with the bad. But I'm still very proud to be showing it to people, especially here.
Well, what about you, Lynn? I mean, I don't know how often you get to be in the American Black Film Festival, but
This is a first for me. Yeah, this is a first for me. And it's funny because it's a double first for me. I have two films in this. So it's for me, it's just kind of like all the icing on top of the cake. I just get to sit and enjoy, and hopefully people enjoy, what we're putting forward because, being it's like the top festival for Black filmmaking. So it's kind of otherworldly in the feeling.
absolutely. Hey, Solomon, where did the original idea came from for Tasmanian Devil? What sparked this film for you?
Uh, well, I pledged. I pledged Alpha Phi Alpha when I was an undergrad. So a lot of the pledging stuff, a lot of the fraternity scenes came from my own experience. As far as the other side of the story, I'm first generation American, so I've seen a lot of immigrant stories just from my upbringing and how I related to my community. So that story in particular, I just kind of pulled from people that I've known while growing up. Seeing kids my age come from Nigeria and insert themselves into the American community, and seeing how that kind of operated over and over again is just a story that I put together just from the experience of that.
That's great. Hey, Lynn, what did you like about your character besides that the character's name is Lynn?
Well, side note before I answer that question. So I read this script very early on. Solomon and I are really good friends, been friends for years. And he sent me the script and I read it and I was like, oh, I love it, yada, yada, yada. Then they started getting the producing and everything moving forward. And he tells me later on, which I had no idea, that the character Lynn in the script was actually written for me. So I'm just thinking, I'm reading a script and I'm like, yo, this is great. I like this. And then he tells me later, like, yo, like Lynn is you're playing Lynn. I was like, oh, okay. But for me, I like being kind of like the tough guy. Not in the sense of, like fighting. He's more so like the gatekeeper. I'm aggressive with a purpose. And you just kind of get to have fun. This is the most fun I've ever had shooting anything. So for me, just to be the wild man, like it's just unhinged. It's like, all right, everybody set the scene, now Lynn, go have fun. So that was beautiful for me.
Lynn, did you do any research for your role? I'm not sure if you joined a fraternity yourself because it sounds like Solomon did.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I'm not in any fraternities, and I have a bunch of friends who are in fraternities, so I was talking to them about the process. Actually went to an event Solomon invited me to. I mean, I looked into a lot of it, and then I drew my parallels to football. I played football my whole life. So when we actually started doing everything, the feeling of that unity as a group was almost identical to football. So on top of what I've learned, in addition to my experiences in football, it just kind of made a great comparison and a great meshing of the two.
Wow. Talk about the hazing scenes because hazing for many people are enjoyable and hazing is also very contentious for a lot of people and my experience during fraternity days, some fraternities like to do hazing and some of them totally avoid it. Could you talk about the difficulties on doing these type of hazing scenes?
Yeah, I mean, hazing is illegal Obviously. My fraternity, Alpha Phi Alpha, we don't haze, but it still goes on. I think in PHC, at least when I was in school. I don't know if it's still going on now. So the underground nature of hazing is the dynamic that you see in the film. You having to do it in secret, having to kind of keep it hush, and it's like a rite of passage for the people who are doing it in order to bring the new members in to see. It's just something to I don't really believe in it myself. Like, I think we should move past it, but I understand the purpose of it. It does kind of build something within the guys who are going through it, and then for the guys who are initiating the hazing, uh they're seeing it, like what the pledges are being made of. But overall, I think the practice needs to be outlawed. I don't condone hazing. And it's just something I just decided to depict in the film because it's the reality of my experience personally.
Lynn, was it difficult to perform during, in those hazing scenes?
Well, one of the things is just when you're the paddling. That's kind of the difficult thing. I honestly couldn't see myself in reality doing that to other people. We have ways where we sneak it, camera tricks and whatnot. But I just honestly, I'd be so squeamish trying to do that to someone. I'd feel terrible. So for me personally, my gosh, if it was real, I'd be a wreck. But because we're playing, it's so easy to do.
One of the things that I found fascinating, and it's just a cultural thing because I'm not familiar with it, was the dance coordination. I wasn't sure if that was basically isolated with African American fraternities and so on. But could you talk about those type of performances and the choreography that goes along with that?
Yeah, that's something that a lot of Black fraternities do. They all have their style and kind of their signature dance moves that they do. When I was in school, we had a thing called Black Wednesday, where all the fraternities and sororities will come out in like the middle of campus and they'll just do their strolls, and it'll last for like an hour and people will come watch us. And back then that's what drove a lot of people to wanting to join, because it's like you have these guys, they're dressed the same, they're all wearing the same colors, and they're doing these dance moves, and people will look at us and admire us. That's how we got the girls. That's how we became popular. I went to UTA, so we didn't have a football team, so we were like the top dogs on campus, and it was because of these dance moves. So yeah, you said it's a cultural thing, and it's something that we just do to uplift our community. But I mean, it was fun, so I enjoyed it back then.
Hey, Lynn, you said you did football, but you didn't do fraternities. Did you actually had something specific culturally that you guys do amongst yourselves to get this sense of belonging?
You mean for the film itself?
No, for your
football.
Yeah, I'm back.
Hazing. Like they're honestly at every level of football, whether outside of peewees, there's hazing, and it is. It seems like it gets worse, exponentially worse the higher you go up, because you hear stories about NFL, college. It's a very real thing, and I think that is a very. I can't speak on the sororities, but just men, period. It seems to be a very focused thing for men, trying to get men to earn something that you feel is valuable. You are going to make them jump over these hurdles and do these things, because hazing it's crazy in football as well.
Yeah, we were talking about it on TNT. I think yesterday, with the basketball players, like when they're like when a rookie joins the team, they have to go through some type of hazing. So it's everywhere.
Could you guys talk about the campus? Because I'm sure it wasn't a real college campus where it was actually filmed at. So could you talk about the buildings and the campus? I mean, it looked pretty authentic.
Yeah, we shot at Wiley College. It's a HBCU in Marshall, Texas. So we shot all the campus scenes there. A lot of the fraternities that were on that campus, they showed up as extras in this film. So it had a lot of authenticity to it.
Wow, very nice. And of course, we have to talk about the star of the film, Abraham Alta. Could you guys talk about working alongside with him and why he was perfect for his role?
Yeah, Abraham. We reached out to him summer of 2018, and I just thought he was the perfect fit because his life is parallel to this movie. Since shooting Beast of No Nation and Spider-Man, he's been living in the U.S. and he's kind of been going through the same things that the character in the movie is going through. You know, trying to adjust to a new system, a new society. And I remember talking to him after he read the script. He was like, I don't really need to. I mean, I'm living this life. I don't really need to, do anything different because this is exactly my life. And so the authenticity of what he brought to the role, I felt like I didn't really have to direct him that much because he kind of got it. Like there's things that he brought to it that I couldn't even foresee because he's living that life, so much. So I think he was a great cast for this film, and he brought something, unique and dynamic to it.
He is very acting with him. He is a very just like his character. He's kind of quiet. I mean, he's a really mild-tempered dude, and you almost have to poke him to see if he's still breathing. But he's a talented guy, and he really does throw us all into it. So I thoroughly enjoyed having that experience with him, and I just can't wait for everyone to see just how great he did.
Excellent. As I'm about to wrap things up on my end here, it's a silly question to ask, but in times like this, we always wonder, like, how are you staying active and creative in moments like this? Because some people actually have limited projects, but some people are actually forging ahead. Could you talk about what you guys are up to today?
Since the pandemic hit, I kind of took a break from trying to create. I just wanted to experience life and live life because a lot of what I do, my creation comes from my experiences. So I use the pandemic to just take a step back and see and observe what's happening around me and feel the emotions of what people are going through. And it's not, although it might not come out in my work immediately, it's something that I'm sure will generate in my work down the line as I start to process it. Right now, it's one of the hardest moments in a lot of people's lives as far as like, unemployment and then pandemic and not being able to work. So I just wanted to seep into that and feel that, and then I'll be able to process it through my art later. But today I actually got back to work. I'm writing a script right now. I did that before I hopped on this call. So yeah. And then I was this summer, I was also in the Warner Brothers directing program. So that was kind of a way for me to flex my creativity and kind of learn how to do television directing as well.
Wow. Well, what about for you, Lynn?
Well, me for as being full time as an actor, I'm very isolated. Everything that I do is generally within my own bubble. My reading, my writing, just a lot of anime, a lot of cartoons, to keep that creative, that really that part of your mind that flourishes, that childish part. So not much really changed for me, in the sense of how I produce my creativity, except from the amount of jobs I was doing. I'm doing more voice jobs now and a few small commercials here and there. So the amount of work slowed down, but my processes have trucked along exactly the same way they were prior to.
Excellent. And one more thought that before I let you go, the title of the movie is called Tazmanian Devil, which is very kind of ironic, is because Abraham Atat's father is basically like a priest, a questionable one who has a questionable relationship. How did you come up with that title? Obviously, it's not a direct title of angels and devils or anything like that. But how did you come up with the idea of like a Tasmanian as Tazmanian Devil?
Oh, so I got that from relation to like my fraternities and fraternities that are in the MPAC group. So although we're called Alpha Phi Alpha as our fraternity name, we have mascots. So like one of them, like Omega Psi Phi, the mascot is a dog. Kappa Psi Phi is a newt. Phi Beta Sigma is a bird. So with Tasmanian Devil, that's kind of like the mascot of the fraternity, and that's what I named the film, because that's what they like when they become the Tasmanian Devil. They become that animalistic type form, Although, like, and there's two sides. So you can be a Tazmanian Devil, but then you can be a man of Tau Alpha Zeta, which is like the pristine man of honor and stuff like that. So it's the duality of the fraternity. That's what the name kind of means.
There's a bit of an unspoken parallel with that, because I don't know if he did this intentionally or what, but the Tazmanian Devil figure that we normally relate to is the Looney Tunes guy that spins. And that character was based on a people, the Tasmanian people, who were eradicated. They were, they were killed, all of them. And these people were vilified by this cartoon, because this cartoon was a depiction of the way that the European colonies saw the Tasmanian people. So that character in and of itself is this one-sided perspective of, we see these people as animals. So the duality of the Tau Alpha Zeta men and the visual of the Tasmen versus what they are versus what they're perceived to be is a very interesting thing to me, because it parallels kind of the societal event of what happened to the Tasmanian people.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that is a pretty good observation.
It's one of the things that got to me instantly. I was like, this is deep.
Yeah, I didn't do that intentionally. I wasn't thinking that.
I will tell you this. I've worked with Solomon for years, and he does this all the time. He pulls parallels to things without realizing he's doing it. And then when you explain it to him, he's like, oh, well, that does make sense. But he did it.
Well, good job, Solomon. You delve deeper into people's souls and you don't even realize it. Well, hey, gentlemen, hey, congratulations. Hey, thank you for this conversation. Just like anything, rather than having a small audience that get to watch this film at the American Black Film Festival in Miami, now people all around the world get to watch it virtually, this film. So hopefully it garners a wider audience starting this weekend. So congratulations, gentlemen.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Not a problem. Hey, hopefully we get to do this next time.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
All right. Bye now.
Bye.
All right.